One morning, me and my wife were headed to work. Bus came out right in front of us, and then I woke up hours later in the emergency room. I was worried about the health and well-being of my wife. My son contacted Officer Jackson. They took all the pressure off. They said they will handle everything, and when they meant everything, they meant everything. I would recommend Austin Jackson Law Firm because they relieve you from all the pressure. Get Austin Jackson, the Augusta guy.
Roof Savers. Save your roof, save your money.
Trust meteorologist Mikkel Hannah Hardy for your first alert. Live from Augusta, breaking news.
Breaking news live at 5. 2 people are now facing charges after a child is in the hospital for a suspected overdose. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office says a 1-year-old was taken to the Children's Hospital of Georgia for exposure of what is believed to be meth. That child's still in the hospital tonight. No word on their condition, but we're told they are stable. Deputies say the child's mother, Deborah Wright, and the grandmother, Laura Wright, are facing charges of cruelty to children in the 2nd degree. Deputies say they are continuing to investigate.
Well, are you having trouble getting your prescriptions filled? Well, you're not alone.
Yeah, pharmacies across the country are having trouble, and it's because of a cyber attack on Change Healthcare, which handles billions of prescription transactions every single year.
Our Sydney Hood is live in the newsroom for us. And Sydney, how are our local pharmacies handling this issue?
Well, in some cases, pharmacies say their hands are tied, which leaves some people paying out of pocket for their medicine, which we all know can be costly. The main issue pharmacies are facing is they cannot process coupon cards. So, for example, say you typically pay $20 or $25 for your medicine. If your coupon is denied, that cost rises to the hundreds, and you either have to decide if you can go without it or pay the full price. And sometimes that's not an option when we're talking about life-saving medications.
One scenario was a lady called, the coupon's down, they gotta have it so he can work. If he doesn't work, he doesn't get paid. But does he want to pay for the medication at the copay that it's at currently so he can go to work? Or does he do without and try to work, but they gotta have him at work so he can pay the bills?
And all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, how this global cyber attack is impacting pharmacies here at home and how they're working to find the best options to get you the medicine you need.
All right, thanks for keeping us updated on that. We know how important this medicine is to so many people. You hear that's affecting people's work and livelihoods at this point, too.
Yeah, medication is not a luxury. It is a necessity for so many. Thanks, Sydney. Switching gears to weather now. It will officially be spring at 11:06 this evening.
Yeah, the problem is, Charlie, any minute now, we could learn the fate of a Georgia man set to be executed tomorrow. The Georgia Board of Pardons and Parole is considering clemency for 59-year-old Willie Pye. He was convicted of murder and several other crimes in the 1993 killing of his former girlfriend. His death sentence tomorrow could be the first in the Peach State in more than 4 years. The pardons and parole meetings are held in secret, so there's no word yet on when the decision will be handed down. The state is trying to move past an agreement made during the pandemic to pause those lethal injections. Pye's lawyers are trying to stay his execution based on that agreement, arguing that requirements for visitation and COVID vaccine requirements have not been fulfilled.
The deaths of 2 first responders could be connected across state lines and thousands of miles. Jeremy Smith is from South Carolina, but he is accused of killing 35-year-old officer, one that's all the way in Albuquerque, New Mexico this past weekend. Investigators say a car found at that New Mexico crime scene belongs to an EMS worker who was found dead in the Grand Strand, 52-year-old Phoenicia Macado IV. Smith has not been charged in her death, at least not yet, but authorities have identified him as a person of interest.
Yeah, now her family is speaking out, saying that they have found some relief knowing Smith is in custody in New Mexico.
Just not being able to talk to her again, like I'm never going to see her again.
Tearful testimony from Machado IV's relatives. following the shocking discovery that adds a new twist to a murder investigation spanning several state lines. Loved ones reported the paramedic missing Tuesday, 3 days before authorities found her car abandoned at the scene of a shooting that claimed a New Mexico state police officer's life. Authorities there arrested the prime suspect in her disappearance and death, 32-year-old Jeremy Smith, who's also accused of killing the trooper, marking 2 slain first responders in the wake of a mysterious crime spree. Machado 4's relatives tell me they're heartbroken to hear of her sudden passing, but they have found some relief during the tough grieving process.
I'm happy to know that everybody loved her as much as we did.
Her loved ones add they'd like to relive their final moments spent with her and regret not living every moment together like it was their last.
She came to my school and she hugged me. And me being stubborn, I didn't hug her back, but I laid on her shoulder.
The last thing we said to each other, that we love each other.
Her husband may be left to finish raising their kids on his own, but he tells me he'll pull through for Phoenicia, as it's what she would have wanted.
One thing me and her always promised each other that if one of us wasn't there, we would take care of them. But they've been taking care of me.
12th Circuit Solicitor Ed Clements tells us that he's not sure what charges Smith could face back here in South Carolina, but he is certain he'll stay in New Mexico for a long time. Clements adds that authorities from both states will stay in touch throughout the entire process to ensure justice is properly served.
Live at 5, we want to show you a live look over the world's busiest airport. This is Hartsfield-Jackson International. Thousands of travelers use services like Uber or Lyft to get a ride to this Atlanta airport or after landing. You've probably taken one of these rides yourself. But authorities say a rise in fake and unregistered drivers there could put you in danger. A recent sting operation at the airport found 6 unregistered drivers. Okay, that's an obvious safety issue, but it also undermines the credibility and reliability of drivers who are actually following the rules. Atlanta Airport Police say these unregistered drivers are taking advantage of travelers who are in a hurry and not double-checking their rideshare information before hopping in.
In Uber, they do a great job of making sure people are certified, making sure they have checks of who these people are. But if random people are showing up to take you places, you don't know what could happen.
There are several ways you can make sure that your ride is your ride, that it's the right one. Things like checking license plates and driver names, and of course, cross-referencing those with what your app says they should be.
Chadwick Boseman's legacy lives on even after his death. The actor and South Carolina native is known around the world for his role as the Black Panther. He died after a battle with colon cancer in 2020. Now the school district he grew up in going to in Anderson County is honoring his legacy by renaming their fine arts center the Chadwick Boseman Fine Arts Center.
Great legacy. I know Mr. Harold Kay, one of our board members, is friends with the family. He spoke with Chadwick's mother and father throughout this process just to make sure that, whatever we do is, going to honor him the way that they like to see.
In the wake of his death, Boseman's wife, Simone Boseman, has become an advocate for colon cancer awareness and spoke at the nation's capital just last week on the issue. He was also in the James Brown movie as well.
Yep, get on up. I swear, he became James Brown, an incredible performer. His legacy lives on. What's next for gun legislation in South Carolina? Just recently, the permitless carry bill was signed into law. Does that mean lawmakers are done with expanding gun rights? We'll take a closer look next. Riley?
Well, our temperatures are going to warm up some over the next couple of days, but overall we will be dropping back below average heading into the weekend and bringing back some rain chances. While that full forecast next. Time in Monday, but back into the 70s next Tuesday.
Breaking news live at 5. The Georgia Board of Pardons and Parole will not grant clemency to 59-year-old Willie Pye. Pye's execution is scheduled for tomorrow and will be the first execution in Georgia in more than 4 years. It's scheduled for 7 p.m. in Jackson.
Adults in South Carolina can now carry loaded handguns without any prior training or even a permit.
That's been the new state law for just over a week now, following the governor signing the permitless carry or constitutional carry bill. Our State House reporter Mary Green explains what's next for guns in South Carolina.
The debate over guns is one that seems to come up just about every year here at the South Carolina State House. Now that permitless carry has been enacted, does this mean the legislature is done discussing this topic? Well, probably not. On Tuesday, Governor Henry McMaster held a ceremonial signing at the State House for the new gun law, surrounded by the supporters who got this legislation to the finish line after years of trying. The law allows adults 18 and older in South Carolina who are legally allowed to possess guns to carry them with no permit or training, with the same restrictions on where they can and cannot carry as before still in place. Since then, a new gun bill has already been filed in the Senate to essentially clear up some parts of the week-old law. It would set time limits on when escalating penalties on certain repeat gun offenses can be handed down, and would make clear that students who are 18 cannot bring guns onto school campuses, even if locked in their cars, among other provisions.
By lowering the age to 18, you potentially allow some older high school seniors to be able to carry weapons, keep them in the parking lot as well. There were schools that were understandably concerned about that. I don't think that was anybody's intent, was to allow students to carry weapons on the campus, so we want to try to address that.
And as far as additional legislation to expand gun access, House Republican leader Davey Hyatt says don't expect that to come up again this year, but in the future, you never know. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
Of course, we are likely to still see more legislation filed to impose tighter gun restrictions from gun safety advocates, but at this point, there's not enough support in the legislature to enact those types of measures.
Turning tragedy into purpose. Still ahead, a South Carolina mother is honoring her daughter's memory by helping families in similar situations. We'll share her story next.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
Spring into some click.
A Greenville mother is sharing her story of love, loss, and her mission to make her daughter's memory live on.
Brooklyn Cromer is sharing her story.
I, my whole life, wanted to be a mama. She was everything that I had ever dreamed about.
Ashley Latham's dream came true, welcoming a healthy baby girl, Miller Claire, in March 2022.
She was perfect. This just shows her little personality and all of her little fun expressions and her little sassiness.
An unbreakable bond from the start.
She loved her stroller rides. She loved swinging. She loved dogs and airplanes and school. She loved to eat. She wouldn't turn down anything. She loved food, and she loved me. As long as she was with me, she was happy.
In August 2023, Ashley and 17-month-old Miller Claire spent the day doing what they usually did.
We went for a stroller ride for her to go play on the swing set. We left there, went back home to eat lunch, and for her to go down for a nap.
Ashley heard a noise on the baby monitor and knew something was wrong.
I didn't hear her call out my name. I thought that was weird. So I went upstairs and I found her unresponsive. This was 3 hours before I called 911.
EMS rushed Miller Claire to the hospital, where she spent several days before doctors declared her brain dead.
She was completely healthy, happy, normal, nothing out of the ordinary.
The coroner determined Miller Claire died from sudden, unexplained death in childhood. Doctors don't know what causes it, how to predict it, or how to prevent it.
At that age, at 17 months old, I never thought I would lay my child down and then not wake up.
Ashley made a decision for Miller Claire to become an organ donor.
She saved 4 people's lives, one being a 5-month-old little boy who received her heart.
Doctors, nurses, and loved ones lined the halls to honor Miller Claire, before she was taken into the operating room. Ashley had a special hospital gown made for her to wear.
As a mother to a little girl, one of my favorite things was to dress her. So I just wanted an option of a different gown. I felt like I had my baby back.
Starting the Miller-Claire Foundation, providing custom hospital gowns free of charge for kids during their hospital stay.
Our first print is the Miller Magnolia. She loved to pick magnolia leaves.
She now has an angel in heaven and a hero here on earth.
I am still her mama. I will always be her mama, and I feel like me being her mother now is in this way of honoring her. I made that promise to her when I told her goodbye, that everybody will know who she is, everybody will know her story, and her legacy will live on.
It sure will. There is a similar nonprofit right here in Augusta called WLJ Angel Gowns. Volunteers make angel gowns out of donated materials like wedding dresses and turn them into burial gowns and wraps for families. We're back in a bit.
Has a life-changing accident left you?
Urgent notice from Waynesboro Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
The 2023 final sell-down. New Challengers as low as $27,700.
If you can't come to us, we'll drive it to you.
Take the short drive on Highway 25. Good to go Waynesboro.com.
At a young age, I wanted to.
Don't wait. Drastic discounts right now.
It's the 2023 final sell-down at Waynesboro Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 2023 Dodge Hornet GT Plus from $34,600. Good to go Waynesboro.com. Plus, Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale for your first alert. You're watching News 12 live at 5. Continues.
Tonight's school board vote in Richmond County could have big impacts on your child's upcoming school year.
A lot is on the line tonight, including the future of A. Bryan Mary Elementary School and Spirit Creek Middle School. Under the first part of the county's master plan, these schools would be closed for good now.
Yeah, and a lot of parents have a lot to say. Nick Veland live at 5 at the Richmond County Board of Education, where the meeting will begin in about 30 minutes. Nick, walk us through what exactly the board will be voting on tonight.
Well, this school year's plan spans over multiple years, but what's being looked at tonight is only going to be for what's going to happen next year. They're also going to be looking at the school calendar for the year after that. If this is passed, this is what's going to happen. Next year, A. Bryan Elementary and Spirit Creek Middle will close. New schools Richmond Hill Elementary and Bel Air Middle will open. Richmond Hill K through 8 and Bel Air K through 8 will split, sending kids to those schools that are opening up. And Tut and Langford Middle will combine to help speed up construction for the new Langford Middle School. Another item being voted on is how the calendar in 2025 and 2026 will look. The calendar could look to be modified to have students start at the end of July with a long break in October and 3 more days added to spring break. The other option is to pretty much keep the calendar the same. So what's all going to be on the table tonight is just to add a little bit more clarity of how the future of Richmond County will look. We'll keep you updated here on News 12 and online throughout the evening of what happens.
All right, thanks for that, Nick. Also want to remind you that this is live streamed in the event parents aren't able to make it and want to watch it from home.
A lot of potential movement here.
Yes.
Nick, thanks for keeping us updated with all of this. Switching gears to weather now as we take a live look out.
Increasing, though, in just about 10 minutes.
All right, thank you, Riley. Brookwood Elementary School says medication stored in the school clinic might have been tampered with. Now, staff members sent a letter home to parents today about that issue. They say out of an abundance of caution, medication will not be handed out until parents come and examine their kids' medicine and provide a replacement if needed. School leaders say the situation is under investigation, and we will keep you updated as we learn more.
A brand new approach to save lives by making it harder to get a gun if you're struggling with mental health.
Our Georgia State House reporter Abby Kasora spoke with lawmakers demanding action now.
Georgia lawmakers pushing for a state voluntary do not sell list. If you're struggling with mental health, you can put yourself on the list. It would keep you from walking into a gun store and purchasing a firearm.
And people are struggling, people are dying by suicide, and suicide is preventable.
Chelsea Pyatt works for the not-for-profit, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Her father died by suicide after struggling with mental health for years.
If this law is in place, maybe their families won't have to suffer like mine did.
On average, just over 1,600 people die by suicide in Georgia each year, an average of 30 deaths a week, 5 lives daily. 67% of all suicides were by firearms. Democrat lawmakers say space can give someone time to get help if they're thinking about suicide.
There are too many people hurting in our state. The COVID-19 pandemic expanded and intensified a growing mental health crisis in Georgia.
According to the National Alliance on Mental Health, 40% of Georgians have reported at least one mental health or behavioral health condition. Mental Health America ranks our state one of the worst states in the country for access to mental health care.
This is my mom, Donna. We call her Mama Donna.
The bill is named Donna's Law after Donna Nathan. Nathan's daughter, Katrina Breeze, says despite a recent voluntary mental health stay at an inpatient facility, her mother searched for a gun store near her home and purchased a firearm in a matter of minutes.
I know my mom would have signed up for this list because she definitely did not want to die.
Donna's Law enacted in 3 states. The bill is missing critical votes from the Senate's Public Safety Committee. It's not likely to get to the governor's desk this session. In Atlanta, I'm Abby Kasoris.
With Golf Week, you know, that little tournament coming to town around the corner, local groups are doing everything they can to beautify our area. But an eyesore in downtown Augusta is no closer to being repaired. Going on 2 years later, the Emily Tubman statue was installed at 7th and Green Streets all the way back in 1994. But 2 years ago, it was hit by a car. It still lays in ruins, and the Coalition for Action in Augusta, well, they're less than thrilled at the lack of progress.
And I think it would be nice if the city would just let people know we're working on it. It's going to come back. Maybe when is it going to come back or whatever, but you don't hear anything about it.
All new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, our Hallie Turner is taking a closer look at Emily Tubman's legacy in Augusta and when her monument could be brought back to its former glory.
Augusta is the 69th fastest growing metro area in the South, according to census data. That includes Richmond, Columbia, Burke, McDuffie, and Lincoln counties on the Georgia side, and Aiken and Edgefield counties in South Carolina. Now, the numbers show a growth rate of a little under 3% between 2020 and 2023, and a total population of more than 629,000. You can check out our website, WRDW.com, for a full list of the southern metro areas and their rankings. And North Augusta continues to grow with the announced expansions for Riverside Village. This includes apartments and retail space. There's also the Hive at Exit 1. That project broke ground earlier this month. Retail space is expected to go there as well. All new tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, Taylor Martin takes a closer look at North Augusta's future and how local businesses are feeling.
All right, are you in the market for a home? Well, listen up. Some major changes could soon change how realtors make commission, and it could save you money. We'll explain next. Riley?
Well, we are seeing a cool afternoon for the first official day of spring, but we are seeing warmer temps the next few days. I have an update for you just after the break.
Diamond.
Bring love right now.
Hey, Brett, I think we need a jingle.
What'd you have in mind?
I don't know yet.
Well, if you're taking something, come knock on my door.
Come and knock on my door. If you're 64.
In the low to mid 70s across the region. Nice Wednesday and Thursday. We're going to have to watch out for the rain Friday and Saturday. And then next week, more rain possible Tuesday and the next Wednesday.
Thanks, Riley. A groundbreaking multi-million-dollar settlement proposal could make it cheaper for you to buy a home. It stems from a class action lawsuit filed by a group of Missouri homeowners against the National Association of Realtors.
Ashley Jones explains what that means for realtors in South Carolina and for your wallet if you're in the market for a home.
Daily Hunt from the Daily Hunt Home Group in Columbia says there's some misconceptions going around on how this potential settlement will impact the home buying and selling process.
A lot of people are under the impression that buyer agent commissions will be going away, but that is not true. Buyer agent commissions have not been put in danger, in my opinion. It is just a matter of that buyer agent commission commissions will not be visible on our private MLS.
The MLS, or multiple listing service, is a platform used by real estate agents and brokers to share information about properties. So if you look on Zillow now, you'll see how much a buyer agent will make if they sell a property. That information is derived from the MLS, but the settlement states that information will no longer be visible.
The reason why they are pushing for that is to cut down on the steering practice of not showing property to people if they are not going to be paid or paid a certain amount.
Another rule from the proposed settlement will require a home buyer to sign an explicit deal with a broker before they start working with one. Some experts believe this could make many home buyers forego using a broker, which could ultimately make it cheaper to buy or sell a home.
I don't foresee that happening. At the end of the day, buyers still want representation and they still need that representation. So I do believe that buyers agents will continue to get compensated. The way that that's negotiated may look a little bit different. And again, that's just still unclear.
Sarah Bennett, a realtor with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Medley, says if the settlement is approved for realtors, the rules would still vary from state to state. And here in South Carolina, there may not be much of a change.
Now, if approved, these new rules would kick in within a few months of approval, which is expected around mid-July.
Spring cleaning is more than just closets and windows and dust bunnies. Now's a great time to spring clean your devices. I'm Jamie Tucker, coming up with just 4 things you can quickly do so your phone is working as good as the day you bought it.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
Take a look in your...
It is officially spring, which means the season of spring cleaning is also here.
And our consumer tech reporter Jamie Tucker has some spring cleaning tips for you, but you won't have to get off the couch for these.
What the Tech, sponsored by Augusta Preparatory Day School.
This is my kind of cleaning. You don't even have to put on your shoes. Grab your smartphone, because in just 30 minutes, we're going to have it working as good as new. Over time, your phone gets cluttered with stuff you don't want or need, like that mysterious other category you might see when you connect your phone to the computer. The first step is opening settings and storage on your phone to review those large attachments taking up space. These are videos, photos, and GIFs that people send you in text messages. So review them and delete the ones you don't need. You can also delete text messages that are older than a year with just one tap. Back in settings, see which apps are taking up the most storage space. On an Android device, you'll find it in device management. Social media apps take up a crazy amount of storage space. So do music apps that download songs to the device. The easiest way to clear all this out is to delete the app. Now, you're not going to lose anything by deleting the Facebook app. Just reinstall it to clear out the storage. And make sure you know your password before you do it, though. Just like you do with clothes you haven't worn in a year, delete any apps you haven't used in a year. On an iPhone, swipe to the end of the home screen and tap App Library. On an Android device, it's in Settings and App Storage. Delete any free apps you don't use. Those are constantly tracking your activity, and some of them continue running even when you're not using them. And once you finish with those 4 steps, restart your phone. You really should be doing this every few weeks or so. I guarantee it's going to run faster and you'll have more room for your photos and videos. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
And you can go to our website, WRDW.com, for a step-by-step guide on these spring cleaning tips. Breaking news live at 5. South Carolina District Attorney Alan Wilson is charging 2 people in Orangeburg after several vulnerable adults are found locked in a dangerous, unlicensed residential care home.
Now, this is part of a massive multi-agency investigation that found at least 4 vulnerable adults were locked in rooms within this facility. Wilson says these individuals were prevented from accessing basic necessities like food and medicine.
Estelle Hutchinson and Tracy Wright are each facing several charges, including neglect of a vulnerable adult, kidnapping, and criminal conspiracy. The vulnerable adults have been taken into emergency custody. Switching gears to sports now, by winning their 3rd consecutive state championship, the Westside boys basketball team did something that very few people thought that they could.
Yeah, this afternoon the Patriots went to City Hall, where News 12 sports director Dan Booth helped the Augusta Commission honor and celebrate their three-peat.
It was an incredible opportunity to be asked back to City Hall once again to help recognize what Westside has been able to accomplish over the past 3 years. This team went from being the underdogs to starting what one could call a dynasty. This afternoon, the city of Augusta took the time to celebrate Westside's three-peat with a proclamation and several commissioners highlighting why doing what Westside has done is seldom seen in sports. 4-time state championship winning head coach Jerry Hunter believes using sports is a great opportunity to help get the most out of the kids in our community in more ways than one.
Emotional intelligence is important, and a lot of our kids, man, they're misunderstood because they have environmental issues. So I think that if we get together behind some sports, and it doesn't have to just be basketball, we can reach out and create the umbrella and build people, stronger people, but more so important, emotional intelligent people, so they'll understand who they are as life progresses to them.
Once again, congrats to Westside on doing what many people thought was impossible. Over in Thompson, this was a big day for their football program. 6 Bulldogs signed their letters of intent to play college football. Jaden Thomas, Kasai Jones, Jameer Roberts, Trakias Jones are all taking their talents to Georgia Military College. John Sally White will be joining one of his former teammates at the University of Bluffton in Ohio, and Rashad Lewis is on his way to LaGrange College.
A lot of guys play high school ball, but only a certain percentage goes on to the next level to play college ball. And it just keeps dwindling every time you take another step in this football world. So we're proud of these guys, and we're thankful that, you know, they're model citizens. That's the thing that I think sticks out more than anything.
The players signing today in one way or another played a big role in Thompson's ability to bring home that first state title in 20 years. That's it for sports. We'll be right back after this quick break.
George St. Gentry Lawyers.
Welcome back, folks. We're looking at SRP Park, where there's no baseball tonight, but on Thursday, Harlem's going to be taking on North Augusta. Going to be some great high school baseball action Thursday night, so you can see the field crew getting it ready out there for later this week. Clear skies tonight. We are going to fall back down to the upper 30s and low 40s by daybreak tomorrow morning, so a chilly start to our Wednesday, but a beautiful finish. Those high temps will be back into the low 70s and generally sunny skies tomorrow. Should hang on to a good bit of sunshine Thursday, where we'll stay in the 40s for low temps early in the morning, and then afternoon highs reaching the 70s again, but a few more clouds do start to move in. You can see that wind direction changing out of the east. That is going to be a sign of some rain moving in by Friday, so a heads up. Outdoor plans definitely could be impacted late Friday and potentially even into a lot of our Saturday. So update on the forecast today. Saturday plans definitely do look wet.
All right, thanks, Riley. Stick with us. We have more news, weather, and sports coming up after a short break on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Emmy-nominated Late Show with Stephen Colbert, BS.
Spring into savings. Baby.com. Click, click.
To Pixent.
Guess which bed's right for you? Yes, you.
That's right. That's the problem. Your body's unique like you.
That's why Weinberger's offers Bed Match. You come into our store, lay down on a patented diagnostic bed that determines the best luxury Kingsdown mattress for your body.
Not just for anybody, for your body.
Can you take the guesswork out of buying a mattress at Weinberger's?
Yes, you can.